For the first time in 6 years, we have a new playable character for the base game of Don't Starve. Wagstaff also requires no experience and no special in-game item to unlock, so as long as you have any form of the single player Don't Starve, you can basically open the game and play as him straight away. As far as stats goes, Wagstaff has a max of 150 health, 150 sanity, and 225 hunger, putting him behind only Wolfgang and Wily in that category. And seeing as both of their characters revolve around food, that is a pretty high stat for Wagstaff to have. Wagstaff does, however, have a delicate stomach, making him take a small amount of damage when eating basic foods. And like me, Wagstaff has very poor eyesight, meaning that you're going to want to put some glasses on if you want to see the world around you. But luckily, he does come equipped with his own signature Spectre goggles, which on top of allowing you to see clearly, also prevent the fog from slowing you down in Hamlet and allow you to uncover hidden dangers such as tentacles and inspect peculiar objects, similar to the magnifying glass. And seeing as the magnifying glass costs a blue gem to craft, which can be quite rare in Hamlet, this gives Wagstaff an immediate advantage in the Hamlet ruins. The Spectre goggles last for 10 days and can be crafted again with 1 gold and 1 pigskin. As you can see, Wagstaff has access to his own construction tab, the Tinkering tab, which allows him to construct 4 different goggles and 3 structures, which I'll come back to in a moment. As well as the Spectre goggles, Wagstaff can also craft infra goggles with 1 Spectre goggles, 1 electrical doodad and 2 torches. As you can expect, these goggles give you infrared vision, causing every living thing to glow. They also allow you to see in the dark and prevent you from slowing down in the fog. These goggles last for 2 days, which doesn't sound like a lot compared to the Spectre goggles, but when you compare it to Moggles, which last a day and a half, and the Miner Hat, which lasts about a day, they're not that bad. Of course, you can't refill them, but they do provide an okay alternative light source. The visor is Wagstaff's form of armor and can be crafted with 1 Spectre goggles and 1 cut stone. This makes it a bit more expensive than a standard football helmet, but it does have a durability of 600 HP as opposed to 450 and absorbs 85% of damage instead of the helmet's 80%. One major downside of wearing the visor though is that it drastically reduces your vision, which can make things a little bit more difficult if you need to be aware of your surroundings or if you're fighting a large group of enemies. And like his other goggles, it also prevents you from slowing down in the fog. The last pair of craftable goggles are the Fry-Focals, made from 1 Spectre goggles and 1 red gem. These goggles can be used to attack enemies or mobs, dealing out 50 damage and setting the creature on fire. And they also have 10 uses. This makes it sound quite useless compared to the other goggles, as there are much better weapons to use and much easier ways of setting things on fire. But since these only get used up by attacking mobs, you can essentially use them as unlimited Spectre goggles, as long as you can put up with the sepia colouring. So on top of the 4 goggles, Wagstaff can also craft a Telebrella, which has 10 uses and is used in conjunction with the Telepad. The Telebrella requires 1 electrical doodad and 1 pretty parasol to craft, and teleports the player to the nearest Telepad, as long as it's within range. The light on the top of the Telebrella indicates whether you are in range or not. The further away you get, the faster the light will blink, and if it goes completely dim, then the player is too far from the Telepad. The pad itself requires 1 gear, 1 doodad, and 2 cut stone to build. This can be fairly useful for travelling between islands in Hamlet, and if I had to guess, I'd say that that's the intended use for these items. In Reign of Giants it would save you a bit of time, but it's not really worth the cost, and in Shipwrecked you would only really be able to use it between islands that are relatively close anyway. Also, you can't teleport from the caves to a helipad on the surface and vice versa. I imagine that would be the same for the volcano as well. And the last item that Wagstaff can craft is the Thumper, which also happens to be my personal favourite. For the price of 1 gear, 6 flint and 2 hammers, you can build your very own wood farm. Just place this bad boy down, plant some trees around it and let it do its thing. It's also worth pointing out that it has unlimited uses, so no need to repair or rebuild. In my mind, this has immediately replaced the old bell in functionality, and I think it would make base building a hell of a lot easier. So yeah, those are all the new things that Wagstaff can build in Don't Starve. Straight away you can see that he adds a lot of new flavor to the game and definitely changes the way that you play. Even for the simple fact that wearing the goggles means that you can't also wear things like moggles or the umbrella or a football helmet because they all require the head slot. So does this make you just ignore those items? Do you have to resort to body slot items to cover that and go without a backpack? You try and switch between the two and have really bad eyesight for a while? Already, those are a few issues that you need to overcome playing as Wagstaff, but I think the benefits still outweigh the negatives with this character. Also, I'll just briefly touch on the backstory of Wagstaff. He has been known for a long time in the story of Don't Starve as the founder of the Voxeler radio company. You can see one of his radios in an early trailer for Don't Starve, and it appears to play a role in Maxwell's abduction of Wilson into the Constant. A radio is also a main component of the Divining Rod, which is important in adventure mode, and leads you to Maxwell in the end. Wagstaff's story also crosses Winona's, as they both worked in the Voxeler factory together. He's also believed to be the creator of WX, and so you can clearly see that he's a very important figure in Don't Starve's lore. I gotta say, I'm a little bit surprised that he's a single player character exclusively, as he does have a lot of ties to other characters, and Winona, who is a DST exclusive character. I wonder if he will be brought over to Don't Starve together in the future. I think his quotes regarding those other characters would be very interesting. But yeah, that's about all for this video. Let me know your thoughts on Wagstaff in the comments. I am planning on making a video like this for Wheeler as well, so stay tuned for that one. For those of you who are new to my channel, I'm currently running a single player series as WX, where I'm building a mega base in Hamlet, Shipwrecked and Reign of Giants. I also have a DST series where I've recently changed to Wartox, who is a lot of fun. Feel free to check those out, links are in the description, as well as my Twitter, Facebook, Discord, all that good stuff. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. I'm thinking about making a dedicated DST server thanks to your generous help, so keep an eye out for that as well. Until next time, take care.